Is it Vinicius, Mbappe, and Rodrygo, or Vinicius, Mbappe, and Jude? Let's dive in. Our first game of the season was against Atalanta. Atalanta are a well-drilled side, however they were missing quite a few key players through injuries, transfers, and whatnot. While Real Madrid themselves were lacking a bit of rhythm, with most starters having trained for only a week or so. So this was a very interesting contest between the two sides, and I think it panned out that way. The game started in what is typical of Carlos Real Madrid, that is, a kind of slowish start. Atalanta were high on energy, although they didn't utilize that to generate any sort of danger. There were glimpses of good link-up play between our golden trio of Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrygo, with Jude just behind them. However, it seemed like it was always missing one key pass or movement. One major scare for me was when Jude collided with Atalanta's goalkeeper while chasing a nice chipped pass from Vini. The replay seemed to suggest something grotesque, but thankfully Jude was largely unaffected by it. Phew. With the departure of Toni Kroos, our midfield lacked control, and so Courtois was largely forced to play unsuccessful long balls, a theme that seemed to continue throughout the game. More on that later. The first half came and went. It was largely even, as the stats would seem to suggest. And then, much like most of last season, the second half is when Carlo weaved his magic. You could sense a greater amount of urgency from the players. The golden trio plus Jude were getting more in rhythm. Courtois was still making his customary one insane save per game. The first goal came off some pure Vini magic. He burns the defender on the left, rushes to the byline. Mbappe and Jude make poacher runs, drawing Atalanta defenders in, leaving space at the far post for Valverde to attack. Vini makes the intelligent pass, and Real Madrid are one goal up. It was a simple goal, but it highlights quite a few important points. Having that superstar poacher is a major headache for opposition defenders, and it showed. We were lacking this last season, and hence the greater emphasis on putting Jude through the ringer in order to gain the numerical superiority in the final third. With Mbappe, that comes with ease. Not only is he a much more visible threat in the box, his addition also relieves some of the pressure off those making those third-man runs. And then, the second goal. The second goal was pure footballing magic. Rodrygo steals the ball, gives it to Vini, who runs with it, and then overhits the pass to Jude, who calmly waits for Mbappe to make the decoy run before spraying the pass to where Mbappe would actually run onto and score the goal. If there was one goal which should highlight Florentino Perez's genius transfer acumen after the three-peat squad, it was this one single goal. Scary for the rest of Europe. After that, it was largely ceremonial. Vini could have had a third goal. Lookman created some danger for Atalanta, but it wasn't enough. Real Madrid had won their first trophy of their season 2-0. Jude Bellingham was rightfully adjudged to be the player of the match. Mbappe had his first Real Madrid goal and his first European trophy. All was well in the casa of Real Madrid. Now on to the Real Madrid vs Mallorca game. Coming to the Mallorca game, I don't have a lot of thoughts here. The positives are that Rodrygo scored a pretty good goal. The negatives, it was a pretty one-dimensional game. The midfield was pretty static. I don't think we were very solid defensively. Players dropped the ball massively in the second half. Any well-drilled side can defend against an attack that is predominantly left-side dominant. Add to it the fact that the fullbacks were not overlapping effectively means that the field of play is effectively compressed. A 1-1 draw seems like a fair result. Some might argue Mallorca should have gotten a second. The substitutions were also quite late. I can understand the rationale of brining in Modric early, but Brahim and Güler should not have been brought on so late. The Mendy red card was probably a tad bit harsh considering all the challenges that the referee allowed on Vini. Going ahead, the players will definitely improve this season, however build-up from the back is not an issue that can be fixed organically. We don't have enough line-breaking passers in the back who are also adept defensively. So while I expect us to fare much better in the Champions League, breaking down defensively well-organized sides in La Liga would be a challenge. Add to that our lack of depth in midfield and defense, I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't end up winning La Liga this season. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Real Madrid content. Till then, to the next time, and Hala Madrid.